Hello and welcome back to the Indian Wisdom Podcast. I'm Dr. Raj Balkaran, and you will hear a tale today about Shiva, a really fascinating tale about Shiva at the end of the age, at the end times. Now, part of this tale um, encodes the wisdom of cyclical existence. Right. So there is a fundamental difference between a linear worldview, as we see in the great Abrahamic faiths, for example, where there's a genesis or beginning, and then we're here for some time and stuff happens, and rules are laid down and we follow them or we don't. And then there's the end of days, the end times, the apocalypse. And for a great many periods historically, various Christian movements, for example, or Jewish movements have been anticipating the end times. When the divine, the masculine transcendent divine, returns to judge all of humanity, both the living and the dead. And based on that judgment, the elevator might go up or might go down. And so this is a compelling idea, and perhaps an even more intriguing notion is the idea that, well, certainly we're in the middle of a process, and perhaps that process will come to an end, but there's no true end. What do you mean? Well, look at the seasons. Look at summertime. Well, summertime will give way to fall, and fall is transitional to winter, and winter is the end. All things either huddle up to try to stay warm, or hibernate, or die, even temporarily. Is winter the end? It is, but then it gives way to spring, right? So it seems that to cycle is natural, and the natural cycles, right? Day and night, seasons, etc. And so there's this really profound idea that the cosmos itself cycles, and at the end of this age, all things are dissolved by Shiva. How? Well, you'll find out in a moment. But once all gives way to Shiva's cosmic dance, they are recreated again by Brahma. And would that be creation number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No, it's actually beginningless. I mean, this is not the notion that we cannot count this high or so high, or we cannot measure it. It is not a left brain idea. This is a right brain idea that there is no beginning, there is no end. Endless, countless, immeasurable cycles upon cycles of creation. Vastness. What makes us assume that we can fit the cosmos into the machinations of our left brain, into linear thought? So thousands of years from now, this age will end. But if we pay close attention, we notice that endings are illusions. The seeming ending of one thing always marks the beginning of a next, and vice versa. Right? Nothing comes from nothing, and nothing passes into nothing. And the process of transformation from one thing to another is all that exists. Well, I'm getting married. This is the beginning of my married life. Well, that means it's the end of your bachelor days if you do it properly. Oh no, today's the last day of my bachelor life. Well, perhaps that's because it's the beginning of your married life, or maybe you're joining a monastery. Who knows? But the idea is that all beginnings imply endings, and all endings incur beginnings. Right? But this process of transformation is all we have. It's all that exists. Time creates all things only to devour them again, that they may be recreated. The dissolution of this age will give rise to a new creation as the universe continues to cycle through creation, destruction, and recreation. Nevertheless, at the end of the age, something colossal will occur. Shiva, the great god, the great yogi, he's made many a cameo appearance on this podcast, will rise from his cosmic meditation, assume his lord of dance, his Naṭarāja aspect, his form, and perform his dance of bliss, his Tāṇḍava, his cosmic dance of bliss. What a cool idea, to destroy through bliss, not through anger, not through wrath, but through bliss. This dance will dissolve everything into the same primordial ocean of potential that it emerged from at the dawn of creation, just as he has done for countless times before, and just as he will do for countless times to come. Upon the mountains high above the world, away from the social order soon to be dissolved, Shiva's matted locks will sway in rhythm as he beats his drum in wild shamanic fervor. The structures of society, like wheels within wheels, come and go, arise and dissolve in the course of ordinary time, but at the end of the age, all will be ripe for its own complete destruction, devoured by the endless march of cosmic time, returned to its original formlessness beyond all forms by Shiva's dance of transcendence. Through his dance, being and becoming will finally be united, fully united. Being and becoming, what does that mean? Well, becoming is all that occurs within the realm of time. It is in transition, it is in process. And being is that which exists beyond this way of time. Yes. And through his dance, the moon, residing as she does amid his matted locks, will spin and flail about with him, her femininity grounded by his masculine energy. Shiva and Shakti will at last merge in fullness. Shakti, whose power underpins all becoming, will withdraw from creation, allowing for its dissolution. She will recede from the universe and become the very dance itself of Shiva. So Shiva and Shakti, Shakti and Shiva, the walker and the walk, the dancer and the dance. Shiva is the dancer and Shakti is the dancer, the power to dance. Shakti will become inseparable, right? So at the end of the age, all of the Shakti of creation merges with Shiva, the witness consciousness. They become one. Shiva is inebriated with the entirety of the presence of Shakti. Right? So Shiva will become inseparable from Shakti at this time, the masculine indistinguishable from the feminine, the dancer indistinguishable from the dance. The flames of transformation will fall down around them, encircling them as their ecstasy initiates the apocalypse. The phenomenal world, everything from the atomic to the galactic, will be dissolved by Shiva's blissful dance. Right? This is the rendition in the stories behind the poses for Lord of Dance pose. Naṭarāja. Shiva's Lord of Dance pose assumes four arms. In the back right hand, he holds the drum which he beats out the rise and fall of all things in time. His drum represents the heartbeat of creation and brings about the circulation of our experience. Despite the deafening pulse of his drum, his front right hand assumes the fear not, the Abhaya Mudra, bestowing blessings upon the world. His right leg stands on the door of ignorance, who represents separation, attachment, confusion, delusion. Those who take the real as real, the decaying and illusory world, soon to be dissolved. Yet Shiva's graceful, active left foot represents the blessing revelation of all beyond Maya, beyond delusion, and the emancipation of enlightenment, where all will accomplish it. This is the energy present in Shiva's death conquering mantra. There's a very, very common, ubiquitous Shiva mantra that is appended to the Rig Veda 859:12. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. Translation is along the lines of, there's deep metaphorical resonances here, but we worship the three-eyed one, Triambakam Yajamahe, who is fragrant, Gandhim, and who nourishes all beings, Pushti Vardhanam. As is the ripened cucumber freed from its bondage. You can't quite pluck the cucumber when it's unripened, but by the power of its ripeness, it falls through time. As is the ripened cucumber freed from its bondage to the vine, may he liberate us from death for the sake of immortality. It's a beautiful image. As his front right hand gestures fear not, so his front left hand points the way to the path of freedom. His back left hand carries with it the fires of transformation which tear the world asunder. He pierces through the phenomenal world in step with his dance of bliss. He is powerful and he is perfectly poised So too does the yogi's perception pierce the mundane, while yet dancing in divine step. As the divine conceals, so too does the divine reveal. So this is a beautiful vignette. It's a beautiful mythic moment. Iconographically represented variously throughout the ages. Shiva as the Lord of Dance poses beautiful imagery. It conjures up great feeling, great wisdom, great power, great joy, great foreboding. Even this is the sort of space where it's both terrifying and rapturous. Rapture is a good word for it in English, actually. It's a rapturous moment where it's sort of the rapture, the end of days, but there's a rapturous experience. It's the experience of bliss, this dance of bliss, where the joy ends and the awe begins. Right, it's the experience of awe. They can be both terrifying and joyful all at the same time. So, this is the tiny tale I wanted to share today with its profound implications surrounding the cyclical nature of the cosmos and surrounding the connection of Shiva and Shakti, the dancer, the dance, and surrounding Shiva's role as ultimate transformer at the end of the age. Feel free to reach out if I can be of service to your learning. If you have requests for future episodes, feel free to come study with me at Indian Wisdom School, indianwisdomschool.com. Perhaps even come to an in-person retreat. I just had a lovely retreat and just such delightful people in attendance in Los Angeles not too long ago. At your service, do reach out. Namaste.